31 to 40 of chapter 6. Sarvabhutastitam yo mam bhajatyekattvamastitah sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mahi vartate atmaupam yena sarvatra samam pashyati yorjuna sukham vayadi va dukkham sayogi paramo matah. Arjuna uvacha yoyam yogasvaya proktah samyena madhusudana yetasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvastitim stiram chanchalam himana krishna brahmati balavadridham tasyaham nigraham manye vayorivasudushkaram. Shri Bhagavanuvāca asamshayam mahabaho manodurnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate asamyatatmana yogaha dushprapahiti me matihi vashyatmana tuhyatata shakyo vaptumupāhyatah. Arjuna uvacha ayathi shraddhayopetah yoga chalita manasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim krishna gacchati kachinno bhaya vibhrashtah chinnabhramiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmana pati yetanme samshayam krishna chetumahasya sheshatah tvadhanya samshayasyasya chetana hyupapadhyate. Shri Bhagavanuvāca parthanaivehanāmutra vināshastasya vidyate nahi kalyānakrit kaścit durgatim tātha gacchati.
ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति verse 32
आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति ह्योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र समं पश्यति ह्योऽर्जुन सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं स योगी परमो मतः.
He who, through the likeness of the self, O Arjuna, sees equality everywhere through joy and sorrow, he is considered a supreme yogi. He who, through the likeness of the self, O Arjuna, sees equality everywhere through joy and sorrow, he is considered a supreme yogi. The yogi is one who sees pleasure and pain alike. He is considered to be a yogi. One who is affected by pain and pleasure, one who is disturbed by pain and pleasure is the opposite of yogi. So who is a yogi? He is considered, Mataha is considered a supreme yogi. Equality everywhere through joy and sorrow. He who, through the likeness of the self, if you have been following what he is saying, from 29 to 32, he is talking about the test of spiritual unfoldment. Each and every verse was giving one indicator of what is spiritual growth. Spiritual growth means Vedantic knowledge. That's what. What is meant by spiritual growth here? How mature, how much you have understood this knowledge. That's what is meant by spiritual growth. So 29, he said, sees the self in all beings and all beings in the self. Verse number 30, he said, while functioning in the world, he doesn't lose his focus upon the Supreme Self. 31 said, whatever be his actions, whatever he does, all are oblated to Brahman, the reality. In this verse, what he is saying, remains the same through the joys and sorrows of this world, sees the unifying reality everywhere. Atmau pamyena. Atmau pamyena. Through the likeness of the self. Through the likeness of the self is understandable in two ways. One, in the absolute level, seeing the Brahman in oneself and in others. In other angle, it is identifying with all around. Identifying with everyone. Atmo pamyena. At the absolute level, it is seeing Brahman. At the relative level, it is identification. Identification means the capacity to be empathetic, the capacity to be sympathetic. Empathy. You have this around, you have this sympathy, you have this empathy, those around you. Opposite of this is very clear. Focus upon yourself all the time. Opposite of this is the focus is upon one's own self. So what is the test of the spiritual yogi? The first one is identification. Second, samam pashyati. Samam pashyati means looking at his own actions objectively, looking at oneself objectively. And when you look at yourself objectively, obviously you can look at everybody around objectively. When you are involved with yourself, you can never, you will be involved with everything around you. So, samam pashyati is a jnani looking objectively at his own actions. You can even say at his own decisions, at his own choices. He is very objective about everything that he is very objective about all that he does. Why this objectivity is required? The law is the ego nourishes itself with any action. You don't need a particular action for the ego to nourish itself. Any action, every action, the ego knows how to nourish itself. That's why objectivity is required. If you understand this point, you will be very careful. What is this? The law is the ego can nourish itself with any action, every action, the ego can nourish itself. Not only bad actions, it can nourish itself with good actions also. It can nourish itself with good actions, it can nourish itself with bad actions. It means what? The ego's focus is on nourishment. It means the ego's focus is on nourishment. Nourishment of what? One's own self. It is called self-nourishment. So what the ego does, the ego nourishes itself. While doing bad actions, it nourishes itself. While doing good actions also, it nourishes itself. Even when it is humble, it's very arrogant about its own humility also. Even where it is humble, it is very arrogant about its humility. It will say, I am the most humblest person. And the most arrogant statement that you can make is, I am the most humblest person. So from this, what do you understand? The ego has the capacity to nourish itself through all actions. That's why objectivity is very important for a yogi. The yogi understands the importance of objectivity. Because of this problem. What is the problem? Supposing if good actions is good and ego doesn't get nourished, we can straight away say, keep doing good actions. Only bad actions avoid and keep doing good actions. The ego that is born out of good actions sometimes can be more dangerous than the ego that is born out of bad actions. The bad ego versus the good ego, and the good ego can be more dangerous than the bad ego. Therefore, objectivity. A samam pashyati. Previously, he said samam pashyati. Here he is saying samam pashyati, and we are trying to draw a distinction between the two samam pashyati. The second one can be interpreted as this. He looks objectively at what? We have so much of difficulty in being objective in relation to the others. That is our condition now. Our condition now is we think that it's a great achievement if we are objective to others. A spiritual person understands it has got nothing to do with the other. It has got nothing to do with the other. To put it very simply, if the other is the cause of your problem, it's very easy to solve it. If the other is the cause of your problem, it is very easy to solve it. Why it is very easy to solve it? Eliminate the other or you run away. Problem is solved. Are you able to follow? If the other is a problem, if the other is a hindrance, great men would have removed the hindrance for us long back. But the difficulty is what? What is the difficulty? You are the hindrance. You are the hindrance. And impossible to convince you that you are the hindrance. Impossible to convince that you are the hindrance. How you are the hindrance? The ego nourishes itself. How you become the hindrance to your own self? Whatsoever you do, the ego nourishes itself. Whatsoever you do, the I stands before everything. Aina, not Brahmana, Venkatachalam. Not the capital I, the small I. The ego stands before everything. Ego comes and stands erect before everything. Therefore, what is the difficulty here? Objectivity to oneself, not objectivity in relation to the outside. Please understand, if you are objective in relation to anything outside, you are just being very normal. You are not a yogi. Are you able to follow? You are just being a very normal person. Because objectivity in relation to the external has no meaning. Objectivity in relation to one's own self, that's very important. Only when you are objective, you can look at your own perceptions, emotions, and thoughts and see how the ego is nourishing all this, and you can eliminate it. If you are not objective to your own self, you can never see the ego nourishing itself. That's why sometime back also we discussed this. So easy to see the fault in another, but impossible to register the fault within oneself. So easy. Why? Because in relation to the other, there is some distance and you can see it. When it comes to your own self, there is no distance between you and your ego. In fact, it is the ego that is trying everything. Even when you prostrate to God, what is prostrating?